beginning of this year, U of I's Feed the Future Soybean Innovation Lab was cut for federal funding. This came after 12 years of working to develop a soybean value chain, helping to end global hunger. So we're going to be talking to a doctor today about what we can do to help.
My alma mater, the University of Illinois. Woo! Dr. Peter Goldsmith, he's Professor Emeritus and Director of the lab, to talk about the impact of this funding loss. Doctor, good morning to you.
Good morning. Good morning.
Thanks for joining us. Let's start with the funding cut. Why do you think it was cut?
Well, there was a policy with the new administration in dealing with international research funding, and the Soybean Innovation Lab is one of 17 labs located at land-grant universities, and there was an executive order to kind of terminate these research efforts. So it was kind of a large-scale mass elimination of these programs.
That's unfortunate. What does it mean for the future of the lab there?
Well, it meant we were scheduled to be over. We had a wind down to end on April 15th of this year, and some folks over in Europe, a firm there, saw our story and made a gift to the university.
Oh, wow.
The University Foundation, which was so gave us life for another year. So we're in operation for the next year through April 2026.
Nice. Okay, so Soybean Innovation Lab, what does that entail? What do you guys do day to day back there?
Yeah, so we're a technical group, a technical organization. Soybean is new to Africa, and the U.S. government back in 2012 came out to visit with me and here at the University of Illinois. At that time, I was conducting research in South America, and they had an idea to invest in soybean as a development crop. They wondered, was it appropriate to develop the soybean market, which would be very essential for not only U.S. growers as an export market, but also for economic development in Africa. So they wanted to know, is that possible in Africa?
And so, despite the fact that you guys are closing, or potentially going to have to close up shop, close the program, tell us about what you have been able to do in the time that you have been able to operate, and that's got to be a lifelong legacy.
Doctor, can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you.
Maybe you want to repeat the question, Natalie?
So I was wondering, what have you been able to do during the tenure of the program, and what will continue even if the program is not there?
Yeah, so what we focused on is establishing, since we're researchers and scientists, is establishing the foundations for the industry to grow so that U.S. growers would have markets and so forth. We identified 4 areas: seed and yield, mechanization, and then the processing sector. Many of you, your listeners are from the Midwest. They understand that soybean has to be processed, so you have to have buyers for soybean, for U.S. grain, and we work closely with them. So we've established the technical foundation for these organizations, companies, it's almost all the private sector, to thrive and be able to purchase and use soybean as what's called the industrial standard. You want them to principally use soybean for feeds and foods and food oil and industrial materials. That way, U.S. grain, U.S. soybean is welcome and slides right in as a imported product.
Now, we were talking earlier about the conditions in the Midwest in terms of growing soybeans. I feel like all I see when I go downstate is corn crops and soybean crops. and they grow really well here in the fertile Midwest soil. Is that the case for other parts of the world?
Yeah, that's the genius. Soybean, and that's what USAID came here to learn back in 2012. Is it possible? And one of the miracle features of soy is that it grows equally well, same yields, whether you're at what's called 45 degrees north latitude, so that would be southern Canada, all the way down to the equator. So it is a highly adaptable crop, and a soybean from Illinois can be mixed with a soybean from Ghana, no problem. That's the beauty of it. So it makes for a great export crop that it can go anywhere, like water. It just flows wherever there's demand.
So my question may sound silly, but what exactly are we using soybeans for? Like, how can people consume soybeans in different ways?
Yeah, so the principal use is for food oil, so any recipe you use that says vegetable oil, sometimes it'll say soy oil, but it's the industrial standard. So it's the industrial for food chain, for making French fries, for baked goods, and so cooking at home. I mean, it's just the base oil, and that's what's made it be the industrial standard globally. And then on the protein side, that's part of soy's magic. It has high levels of oil and high levels of protein, and that's used for animal feed principally. But it also has a use for human food, making tofu, soy milks, soy yogurts, cheeses. So it's a highly, what they call fungible, highly usable product as a raw material. And now I'm sure many of you are aware, it can be used for biodiesel, so for a fuel. It can also be used for green industrial materials, polymers, foams, things, seat cushions, anything where you'd see plastic. You can use soy can be the raw material.
That is so, and I never knew all of that, even growing up amongst
oil is made.
You see it on the ingredients list sometimes.
Right, but I mean, all that. Why doesn't the University of Illinois, I know that they've long been looking for a new mascot. I want the soybean to be the mascot, because that soybean is a powerhouse.
The fighting beans.
The fighting bean. We could battle Brutus and take them to the.
You float that idea, and then maybe we can reinvigorate funding in the project.
And the Duke Blue Devils will be taking on the Illinois soybeans
I love
in the national championship
sweet
game.
beans. Yes.
The sweet beans. Okay, so.
And then there's the lady beans, would be the women's team.
I mean, we could go on all day, Doctor, and I'm sure you would just not be wasting your time by participating in that. Okay, so for people who want to participate in global sustainability, how do we start? What can we do?
Yeah, the University of Illinois is really well globally placed. I mean, there's my work in my lab and so forth, but there are many others who work to bring research and science, student travel, faculty exchange. I mean, the University of Illinois is a leader in international research and outreach. So certainly the programs here are wonderful. And for listener students and so for their children to come here, they're just wonderful academic programs so that students become global citizens. So that's a wonderful way to be involved, and the university welcomes those sorts of partnerships. Education
is key. All right, Dr. Peter Goldsmith, thank you so much for your time. Fascinating. Good luck in this final year. I hope someone else steps up so that you can continue your work for many, many years to come. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
We have our fingers crossed.
Yes, absolutely. We'll keep them crossed too.